Platinum is 7%, Elite is 10%. So is that worth it? If I get Elite status, I can use up to 6. So is that worth it? With Elite status protection, you're allowed to cheat. This is really why I want to become an Elite driver. And if that was the only perk to be an Elite driver, I would do it. We have silver, we have gold, platinum, and then now we have Elite. To qualify for Elite, the amount of points you need will vary by market, and I will show you what that means for my market. For my market, in order for me to get platinum, I need to do 460 points. And the way points work is you accumulate them over the course of a month, and every dollar that you earn, not including bonuses, you get a point. If I take $460 worth of rides, not including bonuses, I'll get platinum. But this also does include tips. That's the only saving grace here, is that tips are included. The last time I worked, I made about $200, but I only generated about $100. And so I made about $100 in bonuses. I do think it's kind of fair, but it's gonna vary in your market how much you get. And of course you have to meet the driving score as well. It's 80%. So that means you can decline 20 rides out of every 100 rides and still be okay, as long as your other driving score numbers aren't atrocious. So in order to generate points, you have to drive during specific times of the day. For me, it's usually Thursday into Friday, and then into Saturday, and then a little bit of Sunday. So if I really want to make Elite, I need 1,000 points. So that's 540 more points to go from platinum to Elite. So is that worth it? I get 7% cash back with Lyft for gas because I'm a platinum driver. And so I did put that number in here. So you can see where it says Lyft Direct. That's where you get the Lyft debit card, you get 7% cash back. I made $24.29 in January in just cash back. You know, gas is our biggest expense. If you can get something that gives you cash back, I know Uber has a card, it doesn't matter. To go from platinum to Elite, right? So platinum is 7%, Elite is 10%. So I think that might be worth it. I'm gonna do my best to obtain Elite status so I can give you guys more information. If you want to show your appreciation for me being on top of important news and getting it to you in a way that matters as quickly as matters, please hit the thumbs up on this video and please consider subscribing. Thank you. Cashback on gas with Lyft Direct debit card, 10%. Extra daily use of location filters, you get 6 instead of 4. For me, sometimes I have 18-hour days. I don't care how you feel about it. I wake up, I get a good night's rest of sleep. I wake up at 5 a.m. I drive for 12 hours until 5 p.m. I go to sleep for 5 to 6 hours, and then I get up and then I drive 6 hours. It's not that crazy. People hear the 18 hours and then their brain gets weird. But if you haven't ever worked a 12-hour shift somewhere, then your life must be fantastic. But it's not that hard to do every now and then. You don't have to do it every day. But I like to use the area filter, and the area filter only lasts 3 hours. The area filter allows me to stay within an area for 3 hours, and I can only use 4 per day. So if I can only use it for 3 hours and I only have 4 times 3 is 12. So that means I can only use the area filter for 12 hours as a platinum driver. If I get Elite status on the days where I really want to push it, I can use up to 6. So now I can use it for up to 18 hours. And even if I don't want to work 18 hours, let's say I just want to work 12 hours, I can now use a destination filter that will take me from my house to downtown, right? I live about 20 minutes from downtown. So I can say, all right, let me use this filter to pick up rides that are only going towards my destination. So I can start that. So that's one filter. Now I get downtown and I say, all right, I'm going to work 12 hours now that I'm downtown. I can use 4 destination filters. So that means I've used 5. And then I can use that last destination filter to go from downtown back home. It gives me more tools to be more flexible with what I'm doing. And I think it will be beneficial for me to be an Elite driver. You get 24/7 Allstate roadside assistance for free. I've never really used roadside assistance. It's always been faster for me to fix my own flat, but if it was something major, then I would definitely use this. 24/7 phone support. Is that new? Elite status protection. So in order to keep your status, you have to achieve it again in the next month. But with Elite status protection, you're allowed to cheat. If there's 1 month out of a 3-month period that you've been an Elite driver that you didn't make it, you can use this protection to be an Elite driver. So you can take a month off and still maintain your protection once every 3 months. I hope that made sense. If it doesn't make sense, just let me know in the comments and I'll try to clarify. The next one is premium airport pickups. You guys know me. I don't believe in being at the airport. It's not great. But as an Elite driver, if I'm not mistaken, it lets you skip the line. It might be by 30 minutes. I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna dig deeper into like making sure I'm not just talking up my ass here. I'm kind of going off of memory, but you can skip the line. I don't know by how much. And you can also get destination filters once you're at the airport. This is really what I want. This is really why I want to become an Elite driver. You get early access to scheduled rides. I used to use an app called Sketty. It's a terrible name. SKEDDY. I stopped promoting it because they've been doing a very bad job of updating their app. But what they did very well was they would always be scanning for long rides based off of the criteria I set. So if I said, all right, only find me long rides between the hours of 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. that are no more than 15 miles away from my house and that are going no further than 200 miles away from the pickup, right? So I could set those parameters, and you could even set no rides that are less than $40. And I used to use that to take long rides back when long rides were actually worth it. And I do think that long rides can still be worth it during certain times of the day. For example, I don't drive in Charleston between 9 to 5 typically because of traffic. Traffic gets really bad. If you're stuck in traffic, you're losing money. But if I can get a long distance ride that's taking me out of traffic, and then by the time I get back to town, there is no traffic, I'll do it. They tip very well sometimes. It can be a gamble on the tip. Typically, I'll do it. And I like driving. I always enjoy the drive back by myself. You know, it's a different experience. Even if the person's in the back of the seat snoring, I drive differently when someone's in the car whose life is in my hands versus me. You know, when I'm driving by myself, I can be alone with my thoughts and just coast, you know. So I do enjoy long drives, and I do miss them because the app hasn't been working as it should. Now, the app is working. I still am not getting longer rides, but if I lower my threshold, I will get shorter rides. So the app is working, but I really want to test if the reason why I'm not getting long rides through Sketty is because I'm not an elite driver. So this used to be Platinum Plus. There's no more Platinum Plus. Being an elite driver allows Sketty to work with the way I want it to work. It's game on. Like, I'm gonna be extremely happy. And if that was the only perk to being an elite driver, I would do it. So it's gonna take me about 2 weeks to generate enough points to even be an elite driver before I can even check if it's worth it on Sketty. So I'm gonna put my time on the line and let you guys know if it's worth doing or not doing. So yeah, cash back on gas through Upside. I use this. I didn't put it in my spreadsheet because it gets deposited into like your daily Lyft rides, and it'll be too difficult to track that way. But I use my Lyft debit card, and I put that as my debit card for Get Upside. And when you do it that way, you use the specific gas stations that I get the 7% cash back in addition of up to 30 cents off per gallon. Now, it doesn't take it off per gallon. You still pay the price at the pump, and then they'll refund you. It's nice, right? You're saving money on your biggest expense, and doesn't take too much to do it. So definitely look into it. I don't have EV charging, but you get EV charging. 15% off auto maintenance and repairs with Goodyear Auto Service and Just Tires. That's dope. I use Gerald Tires. They're local to Charleston. They've been great. But you know, I'll price check next time I go out. TurboTax Premium up to 50% off TurboTax. I use TurboTax. This is not a sponsor. I'm not telling you to use them either, but I like to use them. You can even use them, and even if you don't submit, there's no cost. So you can always double check. If you have an accountant, and you should always be like in your numbers. So TurboTax gives you the ability to be in your numbers and to compare your numbers to what your accountant might be doing. You know, if you go to jail, you want to know why. All right, so how does Lyft Rewards work in my market? Let's see if we can get some more. I want some more information about the Elite package. Enhanced streak bonus privilege with Elite. Resume broken ride streaks and receive prorated payment up to 3 partially completed ride streaks every 30 days. Kind of useless because they seem to be doing away with ride streaks. They've replaced it in my market with bonus hours. So that's not really, there's no bonus there in my head. So you get 6 location filters, which we already discussed. All right, so for premium airport pickups, it says every time you join an airport queue, you'll get bumped ahead in the line by 30 minutes. You'll also have access to destination filters, and filters used for airport pickups will not count towards your daily limit. So, you know, that's fine. I'm not really a big airport person. Maybe I'll, once I get Elite, I'll test it to see if it's a new strategy I should start incorporating. Never be afraid to retest strategies that haven't worked in the past once presented with new information. You should always be testing and retesting things as a rideshare driver or as a business owner. You should always, you know, don't completely write something off. If something didn't work for 1 3-month period out of the year, that doesn't mean it might not work in the summer, you know? There's some things there.